Man orders a used guitar from an online box store chain. He opens it with glee, but his smile turns upside down as he sees a crack in the body and cannot keep it in tune. The man sends it back. A few days later, he finds something else. A newer and better guitar. The Ibanez JS1200 series. Yes, it is not a 1000. I've had two of those, and I had the 100. Now I really liked the 100. I liked the pickups, the way they sounded. I liked the way it felt. I liked the way it looked. You can still see the wood grain. Thought that was super cool. And the neck was nice and thin. But again, it had that crack that you could feel with your fingernail. And it would not stay in tune. No matter what, I couldn't keep it in tune. So, a few days later, I found this 1200 series. Now, this is another confusing thing. If anyone can help me out on this, I'd appreciate it. So the serial number on the back of the neck, if it is such a thing, is F0724571. It says made in Japan, Team J Craft. Right there, yes. I know it's upside down, but I just read it to you. Then on the back plate where it says Ibanez made in Japan, right there, it says 018235. So, I don't know. You tell me. The other thing is, it's got some kind of red in the back of the tremolo. Something like red plastic back there. It's got the screw plate on here where you have to remove that in order to, move the springs or replace the springs. So still, it's a thin plate. It's a thin block, I should say. I opened this for the first time. Well, this here, I did. Because there was still a little bit of sawdust left in here. So I was surprised from Japan that would happen, but not that I'm complaining, save your comments. But yeah, coil split for the tremolo, not the tremolo, for the tone, and splits the pickups. And then you have what I believe was a treble bleed. You pull that up, they're pull push pots. You got to pull them before you push them. And so when you roll back on the volume, you don't lose a lot of the high end. Something like that. I don't know. I don't care. So, yeah. So that's the back. Again, love the body contour on these. Always have. The other thing is, this tremolo. Now, they say heat it up. Heat the plastic up. And it won't do that. But it still does it. And again, is this the original Floyd Rose? Anyone knows if it's been replaced? Because I thought it had a set screw in here that you could tighten it up from keep the arm from sliding around. Because I hate that rotating kind of helicopter blade. And you'll see why, because I'll try to play it. Oh, by the way, my L-shaped jack does fit in here, but then it sticks down. And because I sit like that, classical, and play it, it kind of digs into my... What the hell happened to the strap here? Now I know why Satriani was complaining, and he made a strap that's got swivel ends on it. I saw a video on that guy. Fellow Long Islander, man, was he complaining, but he nitpicks about every little thing. Really, it's just the guitar, the amp, and the person playing it. But he's like a diva. He's like the worst guitar diva I've ever seen. This guy complaining about the gauge, the strings, who makes the strings. Now, whatever gauge the strings are, I prefer nickel wound, pure nickel wound, because they last longer. That's all. I don't have to change them that quick. But yeah, he was saying the licensed Floyd, tremolo, and and the pickups, and they have to have this, that, and the other thing, and I think the pickups on the 100, JS1200, sound 10 times better than these. Again, these strings are roached, and the fingerboard and frets need to be polished and cleaned. The 60s, the thin 60s neck was better on the 100. This is more like a vintage Fender neck, because I had a 66 Strat, and it's almost like that. It's not super thin, and it's got a little bit of meat behind it, dare I say. But for the first time, this came from, I believe it was Philly, PA, and it came with the original case, nice and clean. I didn't have a ton of fingerprints on it. Although these are like 11 gauge strings on here, and the tremolo block was all the way down, and I had to reset that a little bit to get it to an E. Someone apparently put like 11s on here and had it tuned to like an E flat again. But other than that, yeah, everything else was all right. So I showed you the back. It's shielded. The cavity, the cover is shielded, and that's about it. See, that really just annoys me. And after I heated it up and I first put it in, it was pretty good, but now that it cooled off, it's just doing that same thing. And I don't like having to grab for it when it's there. I make quick moves on that, for that arm, and I expect it to be right where I need it for those little slight movements. And one more thing is that it still has a little hairline fracture right there in the body. Yeah, I can feel it, but I don't feel it as much as the other one. And when I returned the other one, Zach from the store, he said they all pretty much do that. And that's a shame. Again, I wouldn't expect it from a Japanese signature guitar. But that's just me. Again, I don't know much about this particular model, but if someone could tell me about the tremolo. These were all loose too, by the way. It took me forever to tune it up. And I tightened these, and I was thinking maybe the strings are slowly slipping out of that, and they were loosey-goosey. The fine tuners are nice and smooth, but I think that the action is a bit higher than what I normally play with. And again, these are the 6305 frets on here. And again, I'm used to that because of my Fenders, all my Fender Strats were 70s and stuff like that. I had a couple from the 80s and one or two from the 90s, and then one from the 2000s, but they were started going up with the thicker frets at that time. But I'm used to this. I prefer jumbo frets or extra jumbo, but it's okay. Let me make some noise with this here thing, and yeah, that's bothering me. Again, the sound of the pickups, to me, are not like the best in the world. So let's see what happens. Yeah, these strings are toast, man. They don't have any life to them whatsoever. If I change the strings, it's gonna sound better, you know? And the, I would have thought the arm would have been chrome, like the pickup rings and the tremolo and the nut and the tuners and the knobs. But, and it didn't, it came with the 2 Allen keys with like a little rubber, like a rubber hose to grip them. And it didn't come with extra white pieces. The last 2 guitars that I had, an RG and a S with the Babenga neck, they came with extra washer rings that you could change on here. But yeah, this whole, if it would just stay right there. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, bye-bye now. So yeah, again, I'm gonna have to think about that with the crack, you know. It's just the little things, I know, but if I plan on keeping the guitar and I know it's there, it, you know, I might say I could deal with it. But if I don't pick this up in a couple of months and I try to sell it and someone comes and looks at it and go, oh, what's that? What's that right there? So I had the same thing happen with the 540R that I had. The same, but that was in, again, that was in the clear coat. This is, feels like it's in the, yeah, I don't really feel it with my fingernail. So it might just be in the clear coat, but you know, again, it's really, it's less than 1/4 of an inch, but it's there, you know. I like how they contoured the heel on that, how it goes on an angle. And I like these plates. I just think that looks so much classier when they add that to the guitar. So yeah, I took the plate off because I wasn't gonna go through, and they do have an angle where you can fit the screwdriver, which is pretty cool, you know, for a change. But I figured let me just take a look, because I saw the red plastic in there. And I was like, what's that all about? Then I figured, well, might as well take the cover off and see if it's shielded, which I kind of expected it to be, and the cover being shielded. So yeah, I could do without the split and the treble bleed. Just put in a out of phase. That would be so much better. And again, this neck, okay, it was the that, and I was hitting it with the cord. This neck is not the thinnest neck. It's probably the widest neck I have on any of my guitars, for whatever reason. So yeah, I was checking out videos on here, and I saw Satriani, you know, complaining about this, that, the other thing, and you know, these are things that, you know, that us musicians require. I also saw a video where he was saying he was doing dishes before a show, and he was looking at his wrinkled fingers, and I'm like, this guy's got no clue. He obviously really didn't have to work, you know, a hard day in his life, because I know I would work, cut my hands up the whole bit, come home and play my guitar, not worried about wrinkled fingers and, you know, like that. So I was like, this guy really became such a diva, and has to have this, that, and the other thing. It's like got to be perfect. And yeah, it kind of set me off, because I was a fan, and I always remembered the video where he's being interviewed and he's talking about his doing the dishes and his fingers getting wrinkled and go, oh, I got a show tonight. And I'm like, and then I see this, there's a 2-part video on this model right here and going over everything, and everything's got to be right and this. And I do have to admit one thing, that the inlays with the strings are perfect. Can't say that about my Washburn, made in USA. Yeah. So, that's all I've got to say, really. Again, if anyone knows anything about the tremolo, they know what I can do about this here. Yeah, they sell a separate arm. I know they did for the newer model, the 24-foot one. And it's supposed to be like carbon fiber or some kind of like grippy thing on here. Can I get like an Ibanez arm that when I put it in there, or can I get like the Floyd Roses where they have the, I could change it and put a coupling in here with an Allen key to tighten it up, because that's gonna annoy me along with the sound of the pickups, which to me, they're not cutting it, in my opinion. And that little issue right there. So yeah, lots to complain about. I'm trying to be happy. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and a better tomorrow. Yep. Have a good day and a better tomorrow. Yep. Bye-bye now.